In terms of the substitutions, I think Andy Crosby's subs today were brilliant. I think Davison came on and had an impact. Yes, he didn't take the chances, but I thought he was really quite lively and good when he came on and he stretched the defence. Christian Dennis made an impact. He held the ball up a couple of times and he was just in the right area at the right time for a couple of shots. I thought Blacker helped calm things down when he came on. The same goes for McGowan when he was brought into the defence, and I think he made one or two important blocks or tackles. So you're seeing the influence that the squad had. And when those changes were made, I looked at them and thought, I'm not sure bringing Jennings off is the right decision here. I don't know whether Tranmere can cope without him, but every single substitute that came onto the field made a difference. And I think you've got to tip your hat to Andy Crosby for that.
Yeah, and I think I'll hold my hand up a couple of the subs at the time. Like, he brought Norman on, and I was saying I don't think this is the right decision at all. I think Joseph is still getting in down the side. I felt it was a defensive move that was more conservative than trying to push on for the third goal. And as I was whinging about it, he then gets the ball about 3 seconds after coming on and puts that pass into Davison that you mentioned, which was just absolutely superb. And I thought he was really influential in the last period of the game too. Not to take him away from Joseph's performance, but I think he did add something when he came on. I think the Denison Davison sub, it's actually quite a nice double sub to be able to make, I think, and it almost feels like if you're going to bring Dennis on, you need a runner next to him, and I don't think either Connor or Ironside can do the job in the same way that Davison can do. And I think as much as we'll bemoan his inability to finish, he does bring a lot of qualities, Davison. Not someone you want to be starting every week as your regular number 9. I don't think. I think we probably all agree on that. But if you can bring him on when you need, someone to do those runs, someone to create space, someone to stretch a team, he is actually really, really good at some of that. You just don't want the ball to be falling to him in those positions. I mean, the one where he hits it wide, he does a brilliant piece of play to first of all hold the ball up, lay it off to Patrick, burst through in a long burst and run in behind the defender, only to, when he actually gets the ball and he's through on goal, to not be able to hit the target. You're looking at that and thinking Ironside's hitting the target, but Ironside's never getting into that position, is he? Like, he's not making that pacey run. He's not, so it's all swings and roundabouts. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The interesting thing was we were just about to bring Kenner on for, I don't know who it would have been. Could have been Smallwood, because it was Smallwood who came off for Blacker just before their equaliser. And I think we're probably quite lucky in a way that equaliser goes in just before he comes on. I think if he comes on and then they equalise, we're a bit stuck. And of course, it's Blacker who goes on to do a lovely run through forward, win the free kick that Whittaker then puts in. So I did think that was the one sub we were starting to make, and I thought, I'm not sure about this, because I would be bringing Blacker on here, even though probably Ken is your more defensive, conservative change to make there. I felt Blacker was the right one. But obviously, he sees the goal go in, changes his mind, sits Kenner down, doesn't go through with the sub, and a few minutes later, Blacker comes on, and there we get the winner. So, yeah, no, I think they all worked out. And you're right in saying now we're starting to get some of those players back. You can start to use the squad in a way that we've not really been able to. He's been unlucky with that this season in terms of the injuries, very unlucky. And I'd still say we've got 3 first-team players out in McGee, O'Connor, and I do think a fully fit Bristow, if that ever happens, would be our first choice left wing back. But yeah, we have now got options who can come on and actually change a game. I do think we had a very good shout for a penalty. I don't know if you're going to come on for that, but I thought Dennis should have had a penalty there not long before their equaliser, but was really glad it didn't come back to cost us.
Well, it was going to be my next point, actually, because about 30 seconds to a minute before then, Norman goes down on the right-hand side as he makes a run forward. And for me, that was a clear as free kick as you could see. Joseph had got into the box just before then and gone down. That, for me, definitely wasn't a penalty. But Norman gets down the right, gets brought down. That was a free kick. And then a few seconds, minutes later, whatever it was, Dennis quite clearly gets punched in the head by the goalkeeper. Now, it was unintentional. The goalkeeper's going for the ball, and Dennis gets there first and gets a head on it. Now, I don't know what the referee's thinking is here, but if he is thinking that no contact has been made, The clear giveaway that contact has been made is that the goalkeeper immediately goes to Dennis to check that he's okay, and like kneels down next to him because he knows that he's made contact. Now, if the referee thinks that hasn't been contact made, look at the reactions of the players and use that to inform your decision. If he thinks contact has been made, then why has a penalty not been given? Because the fact that Dennis gets a head on the ball and the ball goes out and play does not come into the thinking. He's quite clearly wiped out. If that had been the other way around, if a player had gone to get a ball and the goalkeeper got there first and then the player maybe headed him in the leg or wherever on his body and the goalkeeper goes down, a free kick gets given. So it's a nailed-on penalty, and it's such a crucial period of the game. It's 2-1. Tranmere had their tails up at that point, but then Cheltenham go and get the equaliser, and that could have cost Tranmere. And I just think that was a really poor decision of what is, for me, an absolutely nailed-on penalty.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I could think is that he's thought that Dennis has gone down a bit theatrically, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, for me, he comes blindside. The keeper doesn't know he's there. Goes to punch it, makes contact with Dennis. It's a penalty. Clever for Dennis to get in there. And just before that, he'd had that snapshot, hadn't he, where we very nearly scored after a nice link up with Patrick. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, referee wasn't one of the worst referees we've had overall. I wouldn't have said, and he was relatively consistent in not really giving free kicks for very much all game long.